Ever wished you could like rewind the clock on your skin? But like without going under the knife.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to deep dive into Morpheus8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a minimally invasive procedure.
Yeah.
And it's making a kind of a big splash in the world of skin rejuvenation.
Yeah, it's really popular.
Yeah. And we've got tons of research articles, clinical studies. We've even got some real world experiences to kind of look at and sift through.
Awesome.
So get ready. We're going to uncover the science, the benefits, the risks, and even some cutting edge trends.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah. So you can decide if Morpheus8 is, right for you.
It's fascinating. It combines two techniques that are already proven. Microneedling, which uses tiny needles to create micro-injuries in the skin, and radiofrequency energy, which heats the deeper layers.
So it's like a two-pronged attack on aging.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more about how this microneedling and radiofrequency combo actually works.
So imagine tiny needles. Some can be as long as 8 millimeters.
8 millimeters, wow.
Yeah, about the thickness of a credit card. And they penetrate the skin and deliver targeted radiofrequency energy.
Okay, so 8 millimeters does sound kind of intense.
It is, but the needles are coated in gold.
Oh, fancy.
Not just for luxury, but because gold is an excellent conductor of electricity.
Right.
So it makes sure that RF energy is delivered efficiently.
Smart.
And with less irritation. And there's also a burst mode. So the device can actually treat multiple layers of skin at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And that leads to a more robust collagen stimulation, which is what we want.
Right, for that like plump, youthful look.
Exactly.
So it's not just about poking holes, it's about delivering those little bursts of energy.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of results, do we have evidence that this actually works? Because, the beauty industry is full of hype.
Absolutely, and rightfully skeptical. But Morpheus8 is backed by some really good clinical research.
Okay.
One study found that 90% of patients saw a noticeable improvement in skin texture and wrinkles.
After just one session?
After just one session.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Especially compared to like other treatments where you have to go back multiple times before you see anything.
Exactly.
What about how long do those results last?
Good question. So other studies have shown significant improvement in skin laxity and texture after 3 treatments, with effects lasting up to 7 months post-treatment.
7 months?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot longer than your typical like fillers or Botox.
It is.
So potentially you're getting more for your money and enduring fewer needle pricks.
Potentially, yes. However, individual results can vary.
Of course.
Multiple sessions are often recommended for optimal and lasting outcomes.
Okay.
Things like skin type, age can play a role.
Sure. Everyone's skin is different and, aging is complicated.
Exactly.
So Morpheus8 sounds promising, but it's not a miracle cure.
It's not a miracle cure, no.
Now, earlier you mentioned that this isn't just for the face.
Right.
That's where the Morpheus8 body tip comes in, right?
Exactly, like a secret weapon to tackle those pesky areas that tend to show age or haven't quite bounced back.
So like loose skin on the abdomen, thighs,
Yeah.
maybe even those creepy areas.
You got it.
Is this basically a non-surgical alternative to things like a tummy tuck?
While not a complete replacement for surgery in every case, it can be really effective for tightening loose skin, reducing the appearance of cellulite
Okay.
on the abdomen, thighs, arms.
So it's giving your skin that boost of collagen to help it regain its firmness.
Yeah, like a little boost.
So Morpheus8 is like a multitasker.
It is.
But how does it stack up against the other non-surgical options out there?
Right.
Like, CO2 lasers, Fraxel,
Yeah.
Ultherapy,
Yeah.
things that also claim to turn back time.
Absolutely.
What are the key differences?
So that's where things get really interesting because Morpheus8 kind of hits a sweet spot, I think, when it comes to balancing results and recovery time.
Okay.
So for example, CO2 lasers are great for resurfacing, but the downside is the downtime. It can be up to 2 weeks.
Wow.
Plus, there's a higher risk of hyperpigmentation.
Especially for people with darker skin tones.
Exactly.
So not ideal for someone who can't afford to be out of commission for that long.
Right.
What about Fraxel?
Fraxel is also a great option,
Yeah.
but it tends to target the more superficial layers of skin.
Okay.
So less effective for deeper wrinkles and sagging.
Gotcha.
Compared to Morpheus8, which can reach those deeper layers.
Okay, so if you're dealing with more significant signs of aging,
Yes.
Morpheus8 might be the better choice.
Yeah.
Now, what about Ultherapy?
Ultherapy is great for lifting.
Yeah.
It uses ultrasound energy
Right.
to stimulate collagen in those deeper layers.
Okay.
However, it might not be as effective as Morpheus8 at addressing surface-level concerns.
Like fine lines and wrinkles.
Texture, irregularities,
Yeah.
even acne scarring.
So you might get the lift, but you'll still have wrinkles.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Ultherapy is mostly for the face and neck, right? Whereas Morpheus8 can be used on lots of different areas.
Versatility.
Versatility.
Okay.
Cool. And for comparison's sake, how about traditional microneedling?
Okay.
Like, what does that RF element really add?
So think of traditional microneedling like going for a jog.
Okay.
It's good for you, gets the blood flowing,
Right.
but you might not see like dramatic changes.
Right.
Now imagine Morpheus8 as high-intensity interval training.
Yeah.
You're pushing your body harder. You tend to see faster, more noticeable results.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So traditional microneedling can be beneficial,
Yeah.
but if you're looking for more noticeable, longer-lasting results,
Yeah,
Morpheus8 with that RF boost seems to be the way to go.
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's not just about the speed. The RF energy helps tighten the skin more effectively
Right.
than microneedling alone.
Yeah.
But we should probably address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Not everyone's a good candidate for Morpheus8. Right. It's important to be realistic about any procedure.
Yes.
So who should steer clear of Morpheus8? Are there any contraindications we need to be aware of?
Absolutely. As with any medical procedure, there are some precautions to consider.
Okay.
The main ones are pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Gotcha.
Also, individuals with active skin infections
Okay.
or certain medical conditions should really consult with their doctor before considering Morpheus8.
Makes sense. So assuming you're a good candidate, are there any risks or side effects? I mean, we are talking needles and heat here.
You're right. There are always potential risks, but with Morpheus8, most of the side effects are actually pretty mild
Okay, that's good.
and temporary. So you're looking at redness, swelling, maybe some bruising, tenderness.
So like a really bad sunburn.
Yeah, kind of, but it fades away after a few days.
Okay.
But of course, there are slight risks of more serious complications,
Yeah.
but those are rare. Things like burns, scarring, or infection. But those are typically associated with improper technique or a lack of experience from the provider.
That's a good point, making sure you have a qualified and experienced practitioner.
Oh, absolutely. Very
You
important.
don't want to Birkin hunt for this.
Oh, you don't want to go to the cheapest place.
Right.
You really want to go to someone who understands the technology,
Right.
who can personalize the treatment for your skin type, and, someone who has a track record of safety and results.
Absolutely. So don't just go to the cheapest place you can find. Do your research, read reviews.
Exactly.
Look at before and after photos if possible.
Yes.
Make sure you feel comfortable with whoever you choose.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the practical side of things. How much does this cost?
All right.
Because I'm guessing insurance doesn't cover this, right?
You're right. It is considered an elective cosmetic procedure.
Oh.
So in the U.S., the average cost per session is around $1,825, but it can range quite a bit from $500 to $4,000 depending on a bunch of factors like location, provider's experience, size of the treatment area.
So it is an investment,
It is.
but potentially less than something like a facelift, which can cost $10,000 or more.
Absolutely.
And if you think about the ongoing costs of injectables,
Yeah,
which you have to get every few months, it might even out over time.
that's a great point. It's really important to consider the long-term costs and benefits
Yeah.
when comparing treatments. But you do have to remember that multiple sessions are usually recommended.
Right. For optimal lasting results.
Exactly.
Okay. So the costs can add up. It's
Yes.
important to factor that in.
Right.
Now, let's talk about some real-world experiences. What are people saying? Are they seeing the results,
Yeah.
like the studies suggest?
Yeah. So from what I've seen and read, patient satisfaction is generally pretty high.
Okay.
People are reporting improvements in skin tightness, texture, reduction in jowls, and overall smoother appearance.
That's great to hear. But with all this positive feedback,
Yeah.
is it realistic to call Morpheus8 the holy grail?
Let's not get carried away. While it's a very promising solution for non-surgical skin rejuvenation, it's important to keep expectations realistic.
Right.
It's not going to erase every single sign of aging.
Right. It's not a magic erasure.
Right.
Individual results vary. Lifestyle factors.
Yeah, genetics.
Genetics, skincare habits, all that stuff still plays a role.
Absolutely.
So no quick fix when it comes to aging gracefully.
Unfortunately not.
But it sounds like this technology is constantly evolving.
It is.
What's like on the cutting edge right now?
One of the most exciting advancements is the integration of Morpheus8 with something called exosomes.
Exosomes. Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah.
Those are tiny vesicles that are naturally produced by our cells.
That's right. Tiny little messengers that carry information between cells.
What do they have to do with skin rejuvenation?
Think of exosomes like tiny little FedEx packages.
Okay.
They deliver specific instructions to your cells,
Okay.
including instructions for repair and regeneration.
I like that visual.
Yeah.
So how do these exosomes work their magic when you combine them with Morpheus8?
So we can now isolate and harness these exosomes to deliver growth factors
Okay.
and other beneficial substances directly into the skin.
Okay.
Now you combine that with Morpheus8, which already stimulates collagen production, and you have this powerful synergy.
So like a supercharged version.
Yes, exactly.
What can we expect from this dynamic duo?
So this combo therapy is showing great promise for tackling all sorts of skin concerns.
Okay.
We're talking reducing fine lines and wrinkles,
Okay.
improving skin laxity and texture, minimizing acne scars, evening out skin tone.
Wow.
Some practitioners are even calling it a non-surgical facelift.
Wow, a non-surgical fix.
This is the dramatic results they're seeing.
Okay, so is this the future of skin rejuvenation? Should we all be rushing out to book our appointments?
Hold your horses. While the initial results look great,
Right.
we need more research to fully understand the long-term effects
Of course.
and efficacy of this combination therapy.
So proceed with caution,
Absolutely.
as with any new treatment.
Always a good idea to do your research.
Find a provider with expertise.
Yes, in both Morpheus8 and exosome therapy.
Right.
And make sure you understand the potential risks and benefits.
So with all this talk about cutting-edge advancements, what does the future hold for Morpheus8
Yeah.
and RF microneedling in general? Is this just the beginning?
Oh, the future is so exciting. There's ongoing research exploring all sorts of new applications for the technology.
Okay.
And advancements in the devices themselves are constantly being made.
Like what kind of advancements are we talking about?
Well, for one, there's a lot of buzz around using AI to create more personalized treatment protocols.
Interesting.
Imagine a future where AI can actually analyze your individual skin characteristics
Oh, wow.
and concerns to tailor the perfect Morpheus8 treatment plan.
So AI could help determine things like needle depth, RF energy levels.
Absolutely. The number of treatments needed
Okay.
for optimal results. Yeah.
That's amazing. So like a really customized approach.
Heavily customized.
These skin rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Wow. It seems like the possibilities are kind of limitless
Limitless.
with this.
Yeah. Very cool.
Okay. So speaking of aging gracefully, let's shift our focus a little bit to the recovery process.
Okay.
We've talked about the potential side effects, but what can someone realistically expect?
Yeah. Good question. The recovery experience can vary a little bit, depending on the individual and the intensity of the treatment.
Okay.
However, right after the procedure, you'll likely experience some redness and swelling in the treated area.
So maybe not the best day to schedule like a big presentation.
No, probably not. It's a good idea to plan for a little bit of downtime. Okay.
You might also experience some bruising or tenderness, which can be managed with over-the-counter pain relievers.
Yeah. Okay. And what about makeup? Can you cover up that redness?
So most providers actually recommend avoiding makeup for at least 24 hours
Okay.
after the treatment to allow the skin to breathe
Okay.
and heal.
So no hiding behind concealer for at least a day.
Yeah, exactly.
What about skincare products? Can
Yeah.
you go back to your regular routine right away?
Your provider will give you specific aftercare instructions,
Okay.
but generally it's best to stick with gentle,
Okay.
non-irritating products for a few days.
Okay.
Avoid anything harsh or exfoliating because your skin will be a bit more sensitive
Yeah.
than usual.
Makes sense. So pamper your skin. And I imagine sunscreen is very important.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Protecting your skin from the sun is always important,
Right.
but it's especially vital after Morpheus8. You really want to prevent any damage or pigmentation issues while the skin is healing and rejuvenating. So sunscreen, hats, shade, the whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
And probably, continue to be diligent about that,
Yes.
even after the initial healing,
Exactly.
to maintain the results.
It's a lifelong commitment.
Right. Okay, speaking of results, let's talk timeline.
Yeah.
When can someone realistically expect to see a difference?
The million-dollar question. Everyone, rather than a sudden drastic change.
So patience is a virtue.
It is.
When it comes to this.
Yes.
Give us a ballpark. When do most people start to see those results?
So most people begin to see visible improvement within a few weeks.
Okay.
And the results continue to improve for months.
Okay.
After that, as collagen production ramps up.
So it's not an instant fix, but the payoff is worth it.
The payoff is worth it.
Okay. And the best part is, with proper care and maintenance,
yeah,
those results can last for years.
They can.
So you're not back at square one after a few months.
You're not. The goal is to really achieve lasting improvement.
Okay.
And slow down the aging process. But remember, aging is ongoing.
Right.
So you might need periodic maintenance treatments to maintain those results.
Like anything worth having.
Exactly.
It takes effort.
It does.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive on Morpheus8, let's go back to that exosome therapy that you mentioned, that some practitioners are calling a non-surgical facelift, which is a pretty bold claim.
It is a bold claim.
What makes this combo so special? How does it actually work?
So what's really amazing about this is that Morpheus8 creates the perfect environment for those exosomes to work.
Okay.
The microneedling creates tiny little channels in the skin, which allows those little FedEx packages packed with growth factors to penetrate deeper and deliver their payload directly to the cells responsible for making collagen.
So it's like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, 1-2 punch.
Morpheus8 sets the stage.
Sets the stage.
And then the exosomes come in and amplify the process.
Amplify, exactly.
It's like a turbo boost for your skin.
It is.
Okay. And this boost translates into some impressive results.
It does. We're seeing improvements in everything.
Across the board.
Fine lines, wrinkles, skin laxity, texture, often beyond what we see with Morpheus8 alone.
Okay, that's pretty remarkable.
It is remarkable.
But again, it's important to remember this is relatively new. More research is needed.
Absolutely. We need that long-term data to fully understand its efficacy and safety profile.
So if someone is interested in this combo, what advice would you give them?
Do your due diligence. Research it thoroughly. Find a reputable provider with expertise in both.
Okay.
Morpheus8 and exosome therapy.
Right.
Make sure you really understand the potential benefits and risks.
Solid advice. It's always good to have a consultation with a provider.
Yes, absolutely.
Talk about, your specific concerns and expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm curious to get your take on the future of all this.
Okay.
Where do you think Morpheus8 and RF microneedling is going?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more and more research focused on personalizing treatments, using AI to optimize parameters for different skin types and concerns.
So a bespoke approach.
Exactly, bespoke.
To skin rejuvenation. Tailor-made.
Exactly.
For each person's needs.
Yes. And that's what makes the future of RF microneedling so exciting.
Right.
It's about maximizing results while minimizing risks.
Of course.
Ultimately, empowering people to achieve their aesthetic goals safely.
Love that.
Yeah.
And effectively. Well, that's our deep dive into Morpheus8.
It was a deep dive.
We covered a lot of ground today.
Oh, we did.
From the science to the benefits, risks,
yeah,
real-world experiences, cutting-edge trends. We even took a peek into the future.
We did.
Of RF microneedling.
The future's bright.
Yeah. I hope this was helpful and insightful as you navigate this world of skin rejuvenation. And as always, we encourage you to continue to explore and learn about the topics that interest you.
For sure.
Empowering yourself to make informed decisions about your health.
Absolutely.
And well-being. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we've really explored the ins and outs of Morpheus8.
We have.
We've covered, the science and the benefits, and even peeked into the future of this technology. But before we wrap up, I think it's important to kind of bring it back to you, the listener.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, it's all about whether Morpheus8 is the right choice for you.
Right. So let's kind of distill all this information down into some takeaways. What are the key things our listeners should think about when considering Morpheus8?
Well, I think the first thing is to really manage your expectations. It can deliver some amazing results.
Right.
But it's not a miracle cure for aging.
Right. It's not going to completely erase every fine line and wrinkle.
Exactly. It's about enhancing what you have.
Right.
Not completely transforming yourself.
Right. And I think that leads into the second point, choosing the right provider.
Yes. This is so important.
This is key.
You want someone who really knows what they're doing,
Right.
someone who understands this technology inside and out, and can really personalize the treatment to your specific needs.
Don't be shy about asking questions.
No, ask a lot of questions.
Like, how long have they been doing this?
Exactly. How many Morpheus8 treatments have they performed?
Have they seen results with patients like me?
Yeah.
Do they have before and after photos?
Yeah.
All very valid questions.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to shop around.
Yeah.
Talk to a few different providers.
Get a couple consultations.
Get a couple consultations.
Right. Until you find someone you really connect with and trust.
Yes, exactly.
It's your face, your body.
Right.
You want to feel good about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about money. We know this can be a bit of an investment.
Yeah, it can be.
And the price can vary. What are some things that can affect the cost?
So location is a big factor.
Yep.
Big cities tend to be more expensive.
Right.
The provider's experience, their reputation, that's going to affect the price.
Sure.
And of course, the size of the area and how many treatments you need.
Right.
That's all going to impact the final cost.
Right. So it's really important to understand the total cost up front,
Yes, definitely.
including, potential multiple sessions, maintenance treatments, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to talk about financing options.
Right.
A lot of providers offer payment plans or other arrangements.
Great point. Okay. Let's talk about recovery. We've mentioned this, throughout this deep dive, but what are the typical side effects?
Yeah.
How long do they last?
Okay. So most people will experience some redness, swelling, and tenderness in the area
Right
after the treatment, but that's completely normal,
Okay, good.
and it should subside within a few days.
So yeah, plan for a little downtime,
A little downtime.
especially if you've got something important coming up.
Yeah, if you have a big event, maybe don't schedule it right before.
Right. And while you're healing, just be really gentle
Gentle.
with your skin.
Yeah.
Avoid any harsh products, exfoliants,
Yeah.
and of course, sunscreen.
Sunscreen is your best friend.
Always. Okay. So we've covered a ton of ground here today. The science, the benefits, the risks. We even talked about, those new advancements like combining Morpheus8 with the exosomes. But as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this?
I think the most important thing is that knowledge is power,
Right.
especially when it comes to your health and well-being. So do your research, ask questions, be informed, and make choices that are right for you.
That's right. And remember, this field is constantly evolving.
It is.
So many new technologies and treatments are coming out all the time.
All the time.
So stay curious, stay informed, and, never be afraid to explore those options.
Absolutely.
Well, that's our deep dive into Morpheus8.
That's it.
We hope you found it helpful, as you kind of figure out your options for skin rejuvenation.
Absolutely.
And as always, we encourage you to keep learning and exploring those topics that interest you. It's all about empowering yourself to make those informed decisions about your health and well-being. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.